probably learned about several techniques for reducing the pain of labor. Now here on this channel, I've taught a lot of them, but today we're gonna go in a bit of a different direction because I wanna share with you what I believe to be the most powerful skill that no one seems to talk about. Now this skill is the one that I teach first in my online childbirth class because I think if you can master this skill, you're gonna have such a powerful way to deal with the contractions of labor. Now I call this technique limp and loose in labor, but it's not an official name. It's a technique that probably doesn't get a lot of focus because it doesn't have an official name like changing positions or breathing or movement. Limp and loose in labor is a head to toe relaxation technique that you do as you feel the contractions start. So let's just back up a little bit and talk about what's happening during a contraction. So the uterus is a muscle that's contracting, and the purpose of the contracting is to pull open the cervix and move the baby down. So each time you have a contraction, your uterus is working on getting that exit to open. Now, what we can do to help this effort is to allow for this work to happen. Allow is the key word here. When we tense our muscles, we're fighting against that contraction. We really aren't allowing, and we're making the contraction less effective. And less effective contractions mean more contractions are needed, and we don't want that. It certainly isn't our intuitive action. It's almost like a reflex where we immediately brace ourselves against the intense feeling of the contraction. It's kind of like when you feel like a cold wind come. You know, when you feel that cold, you immediately like raise your shoulders and bring in your limbs. It's you're bracing against that cold wind. Now, pain is just like this too. Imagine stubbing your toe really badly, like say on the bed in the middle of the night. You wouldn't look like this, would you? No, you would be like, ow, all bunched up, all of those muscles contracted, just like the pain of labor. This limp and loose in labor technique is a practical way to learn how to relax your body through the contractions and allow your uterus to open the cervix. Now, to demonstrate this technique, I have enlisted another doula YouTuber who is currently in her final month of pregnancy. So Victoria Wilson at the Mother Well here is in the side lying position. Now this is a great position to rest in during contractions. And you can see that as she gets a contraction, clearly she tightens all of her muscles. Notice her arms, her shoulders, her head, her hands, her hand that is behind her head. So clearly her body is working against the contraction here. Then watch as she intentionally releases her muscles. She makes an effort to think about releasing her jaw, her shoulders, and all the way down her body. Now, if you've ever heard someone say, ride the contractions or ride the wave of labor, that's what this means. To allow the body to do its work by staying limp and loose allows you to ride that contraction and allows it to work. So here is Victoria again. This time she's in a standing position when her contraction starts. She clearly is not riding this wave yet, but after a few seconds of the contraction, she remembers to be limp and loose. This is what it's like in labor, releasing your muscles in your face, your arms, your shoulders. She is also using rhythm as a coping technique, which goes really nicely with limp and loose in labor. These strategies are good pairs. Now, as you work through contractions, you'll likely get better at relaxing through them, where you'll feel the contraction, maybe tense up, and then intentionally release your muscles. And once you master this technique, your contractions are likely going to get longer, stronger, and closer together as your labor progresses, which is great. And that might mean that you'll have to go through this process again because the contractions themselves might be more difficult. Now, partners can support the technique by using words like limp and loose, ragdoll, go boneless. One of my childbirth education students suggested the phrase loosey-goosey, and I love that one too. Saying a little short phrase as the contraction starts is so much better than saying something like, you're all tense, or don't tense up, or just relax. It's not quite as effective. So if you're wondering how to make sure that you will remember this technique when labor comes, then I have an answer for you. It's to practice. Now, in the Birth Toolbox childbirth class that I teach, we spend 30 seconds during each class practicing, which is really super short, but when you do it daily or a few times a week, it's going to start feeling like second nature. Now, let's do a 15-second practice here together since we're talking about it. Are you up for it? So when the timer starts, you're going to tighten up your face, your jaw, your shoulders, and then you'll take a deep breath and then start the relaxation process from your head down to your arms. So that breath moment is like a reset switch, telling yourself, be limp and loose. You ready? Let's do it now. Great work on that practice. Did you notice how differently your body felt after it wasn't tense anymore? I am really excited that you have this technique as a tool in your toolbox so that when real labor comes along, you will be able to pull it out because of the practice. Now, if you'd love to learn more tools like this, click on the link below to the Birth Toolbox class. It's in the description, and I also included a special coupon for this online self-paced class that I teach. So just as important of knowing what to do during contraction, it's equally as important to know what to do in between contractions, in that rest phase. I want you to make the most of that. And so I have a great video on that topic that I'm going to link to next. See you next time, guys. Bye.